So she starts talking with a guy, and I guess he'd canceled a couple times, but she was off from her job in the morning, and so they met for lunch. And when she showed up, and they're sitting there talking, she said it was a little awkward to begin with. The whole conversation was awkward. But when she showed up, he's like, "Oh, it is you. You're dating my friend. You're dating a guy I know." Because this guy, although we're not close friends, we've gone on golf trips together, on group golf trips. I know him. He was at my Dua Lipa birthday party concert, him and his wife. And he actually sent me a message after the concert asking for a girl's contact information who was there with her boyfriend.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the number one sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad. And Lily,
the dynamic duo,
the oh so shocking stories of sugar dating. And we have some shocking stories today. Do we start out with the shocking stories? Or I've got a whole...
Some interesting things have transpired.
There's been a lot going on. I'm fired up. I got a lot to talk about. It's just you and me. We had a guest scheduled, but he postponed till next week. And you were like, well, we've got this Zoom set up. Who can we interview? I said, you're interviewing me. I'm fired up. We got things to talk about.
All right, let's do it.
And come to find out, you have things to talk about.
I do have things to talk about.
Yes. So as I'm looking over, Lily, in the plush studios of Pod Populi, we're actually recording in their back room. They have two rooms at the Scottsdale location. One of them's kind of in a fishbowl where people can actually see you from outside. Mm-hmm. And then one of them's back here in this enclosed room with couches and nice plush chairs, no onlookers.
We're just back here chilling.
Yep. So we are chilling here at Pod Populi. I talk about them a lot, and if you certainly want to start a podcast and you're interested in doing that, go to their website. They're opening up locations all over the nation, and if they don't have one in your city, I want you to email Brian Howie, our good friend, say, I want one where I live so I can start my own podcast and structure it however I want and say however I want.
Okay.
Now, if making money at it, that's a whole different story. Getting anybody to listen to it, that's a whole other story. And speaking of, our numbers have really done well this month. We have had some great guests and some great subjects, and we really appreciate all of our listeners on tuning in. And boy, do we have some good things coming down the road.
Yes, we do.
And I'm getting a lot of mail from you guys. And if you want to meet and party with the crew of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, go to our website, fill out the form, come party with us. We are actually looking at expanding it. We were giving away 8 packages, but we're looking at expanding it to 10. So I'll make that official announcement soon, but it looks like we're going to have 10 spots available instead of 8. So get those submissions in. And I've got some fun things that we're going to discuss here in a few minutes from people who have actually submitted those forms. But first, I know I started talking about this and then I got distracted. Lily, what do you have on your finger over there?
A very shiny, beautiful, magnificent rock.
And when did this appear on your finger?
Last night.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So Lily was exclusively dating 2 guys. And now she's narrowed it down to 1.
Kind of oxymoronic, right?
Yeah.
Exclusively dating 2 guys.
Right.
Yes. Now I'm just exclusively dating 1 guy because he liked it and he put a ring on it.
He put a ring on it.
And it's just a promise ring, exclusivity ring. And he told me when we get to the stage of engagement, it will be a much more substantial ring, and you can move that to your right hand.
Well, this one would fit nicely on most anyone's ring as you're flashing it towards me.
God, it's
beautiful.
Gorgeous.
It's big.
I don't know the carats.
I was going to say, what size center stone is that? It's beautiful.
I'm going to say it's like a carat center stone and
At
probably
least.
like 2.5, 3 total weight. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it because it's not overbearing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen bigger ones, obviously. I mean,
Yes.
but this one fits you so nicely.
It's so sparkly.
Oh, yeah. You know, we were talking in the car. Lily rode with me on the way to the studio. And we were talking about how her first dates went with Trucker. And actually, I was a part of one of them. We double dated. And we've actually double dated quite a bit. But we double dated on one of your very first dates with him.
I think it was my first date.
Yeah.
It was
first real one.
outside of the meet and greet.
Outside,
it was
yeah.
my first date.
Yeah. And I
And
didn't know what
was a little nervous.
I didn't know what to think of him.
I needed my backup crew.
And I didn't know what you thought of him. And I didn't know if this was even going to go anywhere. It certainly wasn't love at first sight.
No.
No. But he was just a nice guy.
He's such a great guy.
And as you've gotten to know him, you're just seeing better and better sides of him. And you're starting to see the true self.
Well, I've just been so jaded and so skeptical for so long
Yeah.
that I always have my guard up.
Right.
And I really advocate protect your heart, don't move too fast. And he just kind of broke through my wall relatively quickly. Tomorrow it'll be
6 months.
5 months.
Oh, 5 months?
Tomorrow it'll be 5 months.
Okay.
Since our first date. So,
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
5
that's
months.
pretty quick, but I'm telling you, he's just so easy to spend time with, and we just get along, and he checks off all my boxes.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I would have never predicted that from our first awkward meet and greet to our romantic dinner at the Wrigley Mansion where he drops a box on the floor, and I'm like, what is that? And he's like, well, I was saving it until dessert, but here, I'll just set it on the table. But you're going to have to wait till dessert to open it.
Yeah.
And it was this magnificent diamond ring.
Yeah, you're grinning from ear to ear.
So
now,
pretty.
you let Podcast Fanboy know about the situation.
Yeah.
And
I felt like that was only fair to let him know that I'm only exclusive with one now.
Right. And
Yeah.
he responded exactly how I thought he would.
He's so gracious and so sweet and so supportive.
Mm-hmm.
He was very happy for me.
Right. I just love this style of dating.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we talked about it a few episodes with Angie and Vivian. It's like when I had my party and I invited all these ex-sugar babies and current sugar babies to the party, they got along so well. But I could never do that with ex-girlfriends.
No.
It just wasn't like, I think my last couple ex-girlfriends have me blocked on everything. They weren't happy. It wasn't anything that I did to cause them to block me out of, hate. They just, when it's over, relationships are tough when they end. And when it's over, they just wanted to close and move on and just get rid of the hurt. So, I don't know.
Well, Podcast Fanboy took it very well, and I think I'll be friends with him forever. He's a great person. I have so much respect for him. I've had so many wonderful experiences with him, and I knew he would be supportive, but he was really, really, really sweet and congratulatory. So I appreciated that.
So I just got back from Vegas. Wanted to tell you a little bit about that. Oh, I took Alejandra to see Adele.
And how was that?
Oh, my God. So Adele has some great songs. It's hard not to be a fan of some of her great songs. Here's the problem for me. I remember Adele when she was a nanny and she was very homely looking, overweight, not attractive at all, but had this unbelievable voice. I remember those days. What I saw in Vegas was somebody completely different, the same voice, but somebody completely different. She's gone through this overhaul of her image. She's absolutely gorgeous. Her personality has really blossomed. She not only did she sing hit song after hit song, she interacted with the audience. She actually came down into the audience, talked one-on-one with people, took pictures with people during the show, and walked around singing, and she is hilarious. She's got a potty mouth.
Oh, gosh.
But the show at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace was so technologically advanced that you're just looking around at all the special effects and everything that they were able to incorporate into the show is mesmerizing. Alejandra, let's say there was 20 songs. Alejandra was completely in tears on at least 18 of those songs. I look over, she is bawling for 18 songs
Is
out of the
this
20.
like her favorite artist?
Oh, yeah, she's in love with her.
Oh.
She felt like every song spoke to her. And then just the way that Adele was able to deliver the songs to the audience and then just everything incorporated with the show. Amazing. I highly recommend it. The nice thing is tickets were in the 4 figures, even for the nosebleed seats, but they have come down. Like we saw tickets as low as $500-$600. The reason being is she's added a bunch of shows to her residency there, her weekend. So it's a little easier to get tickets now. And here's a little hack for you. There's no bad seat in the house. So you don't have to sit down front to get the best view. Actually, where we sat was in the 3rd highest section, and it was magnificent because we had an overall view of the effects and the whole entire show. I wouldn't have wanted to be too close. But if you sit up in the 4th section, which is just above us, still great seats, you have the opportunity of being drawn out of a bin. She draws a seat, and she invites that seat down to the front.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we were hoping that we would have an opportunity, but we were in section 300. So if you go ahead and buy in 400, the seats are a little cheaper, still a great view, and you're in the lottery for a front row ticket.
Nice.
And she lets you bring somebody with you. So she drew this lady out of the little bin that they were spinning around, and then they, the camera went on up there, and then she called out the row and the section, and it got really suspenseful. And then the seat, it was pretty amazing little experience. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, so I highly recommend that. It's a good fun trip.
So Trucker and I went to San Diego to escape the heat.
Yes,
and we just did a lot of beach time and partying, fine dining.
I know that beach that you guys were on, because you share your location with me.
Yes.
And we were in Vegas, and we knew you were in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I wonder what part of San Diego she's in, and I looked you up. You're right on Mission Beach.
Yeah.
Right on the boardwalk.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that's a great spot.
It is. And he's talking about next summer renting a house for a month, maybe like the month of July, in Manhattan Beach area.
Okay.
And just stay for a month. Well, I would stay for a month. He'd have to come back and forth to run his business. But yeah, I'm amenable to it. That sounds great.
Well, I printed out, I've got a bunch of letters that I'm hoping to get to. And if I don't get to all of these, actually I have so many, there's just no way I can get to all of these. I'm going to throw some of this into extra sugar. So
there you go.
Yeah. So we'll continue this if we don't get into it. But somebody sent me a letter. It says, and they're from Canada. It says, "Can you fulfill my dream and set me up with Jerry Biggs and completely change my life for the better?"
Who is Jerry Biggs?
So that's taking it way back. Episode 7, one of my very first interviews, I interviewed this guy, and he had written a book on how to be a sugar daddy. And he went by the name Jerry Biggs, which was either a pen name or that wasn't his real name. And the episode was titled, "Should You Have a Sugar Baby Assistant?"
Oh.
And I've had quite a few sugar baby assistants.
You absolutely have.
With some success and some dismal failure.
Oh, yes.
So that was a fun episode, but it was very interesting that she brought this one up because I haven't thought about that episode in a long time because we're well into the hundreds now. A lot of people, I had somebody reach out on Instagram, and I get a lot of messages there. So thank you for sending those, and we do respond to those for most part. And she's like, should I start from the beginning and get caught up because you got so many episodes? I think you do.
You have to start from the beginning?
I think so, because you see the transformation of the show and the characters of the show and the personalities, and you kind of see where Angie comes in episode 9, and then where a couple others, what was her name? Anyway, and then where Kimmy comes in and where you come in, Lily, we figured out was about 43 or 44, somewhere around there. I came in on
44, reluctantly.
Yeah, and so now look at you. You've been here for over 60% of the episodes, and you do get to kind of follow the lives of the different people that come into the show. Kevin came in eventually, and then Vivian, and we just got lots of great characters that have come into the show. And so you can kind of follow their stories and then what part that they play now, because we do reference back a lot to things that we've said in other episodes. So
that is true.
Yeah, just start binging. It'll go quick. You'll have fun.
I have to be honest, I have not listened to all of them.
Wow.
I think I started from the beginning and did a few, and then I skipped to wherever we were when you became my employer and went backwards a little bit. Since like 40 on, I've heard all of them. So I just need to listen to like the first few.
So Amy was a sugar baby assistant. She wasn't my first, but she was a sugar baby assistant, and she helped me get the show started. And then I had Taylor, who was here for a short time. That one didn't work out so well.
Now, was that her podcast name?
Yes.
Okay.
That was her podcast name. And then Kimmy and and Lily actually became assistants of mine.
Right at the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
You tried to make us roommates, and I was like, no, but hell no. I am not living with a 21-year-old.
Yeah. I know. It was really funny.
Little did I know I would love her like a daughter before too much time had passed.
It's fantastic. So, yeah, I've definitely had sugar baby assistants, and you guys have worked out fantastically, oddly enough.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. So speaking of Amy, though, we had some fan mail come in for Amy.
That's right.
I want to get into this because Amy is in school. She's in a very tough 4-year program. She's over 2 years into it now. And the studying and her job really just prevents her from being able to take part in the podcast. Although I do talk to her frequently, and she has a lot of great things to say. We haven't phased her out, but she just hasn't been here in a while. But
she comes on her birthday.
Yeah, she comes on her birthday. We have a birthday show for her. But she has a huge fan, apparently.
Yes. You sent this to me, and I was like, whoa.
We just got a letter, and we'll just say her initials are M.O., and she wrote us a couple times. I'm going to actually read both letters.
Okay.
Hi, my message is for Amy. Even though I do adore you, Marcus, I have a soft spot for my girl. Honestly, I feel like I identify so much with her, and I feel like we could be the same person. Truly, I feel like she has her highs and lows just like I do, and I can tell she is so emotionally invested in everything she does, but also has her guard up when it comes to her mental health. And I feel like I can relate so well to her. I am pretty new to the sugar baby world, but even as a newbie, I feel like I am her spirit animal, and that we could truly be great friends just to chat and be there periodically for each other through the ups and downs of this process. So I just wanted to reach out because I feel like we could have a real friendship and give each other really good advice and shoulders to cry on through everything we go through. I just had to share. As much as I love all the other co-hosts, none of the episodes speak to me as much as the ones with Amy because she sounds just like me if I were to be in a podcast. I love your guys' show and it has been such an amazing resource to me. So thank you all, and I appreciate all the honesty and work you put into making people more open-minded towards this whole exhausting yet fulfilling lifestyle. Love to hear from you guys soon, and we'll continue to listen and learn from your podcast. So that was very nice. I sent that over to Amy.
Okay, what was her reaction?
Well, I also sent her this one too from the same girl. So she says, hey guys, so I think I may have reached out to you on the website through the Contact Us page, but I did want to make sure that my message got across to you guys if it did not go through. I really want to show my gratitude to you guys and all your open and honest conversations which so many people are afraid to have. Your podcast has given me the boost of confidence and validation to feel comfortable sharing my life as a sugar baby with my few closest friends. I also have to share my absolute love for Amy on the show. You know, we all speak to somebody. Every person we have on the show, somebody relates with, which is quite interesting. At this point, I really hope that my message on your website did not end up going through, because then it may seem like I am an Amy fanatic, which I guess wouldn't be too far off. Amy truly is my spirit animal. In life, I haven't found anybody as similar to me as Amy, who I found by listening to this podcast. So I will say, Marcus, you pick some good ones. But maybe I am biased because I think I'm a good one, and I also think I am very similar to Amy. Now, this part of the message is for Amy. I admire you and your strength so much. The way that you emotionally invest yourself in others while also guarding your own emotions is something that I have related to so deeply. Just like you, I also have my emotional and mental ups and downs, which can be a bit debilitating at times. So I truly admire your openness to talk about these things, as I think they affect a lot more people than we would think. Listening to the podcast, you sound like you have the same exact values, mannerisms, sense of humor, and communication style as me. As I have been new to the sugar baby lifestyle, I am learning all the struggles and benefit of this life. I feel like we could be great friends and resources who exchange stories about life that can be rewarding, exhausting, mentally taxing, etc. Please feel free to reach out if you need anything just from a friend perspective, because I think we could get along extremely well. And I appreciate all the episodes that you are on and relate to so much, to everything that you were saying. Thank you to all you guys for making this show such a success. I would not be as informed and successful on my journey without you. Thank you, M.O.
So I'm dying to know Amy's reaction when you sent her
so
that.
Amy, she doesn't know how to react. That's the thing. It's very awkward for her, because when it's just her and me, and maybe in a guest on the microphone, it's just us two or three talking, and she doesn't realize how many people are listening. And so she's not used to people being a fan of hers. It's very awkward. She has some social anxiety, and that's why it's hard to even get her to go to concerts with us and events with lots of people. It's just something that she's dealt with all of her life. I love her to death. She's such a fantastic and interesting individual with a different point of view that I enjoy, experiencing different points of view. And I don't discount her views on life and the views of things just because they're different than mine. Yeah, as my assistant, we used to get in arguments and kind of push each other, and I would get a little frustrated with her, but I just got to remember she's got a whole different perspective of things, and I need to appreciate and welcome those ideas and see if I can incorporate any that makes sense. So.
Do you think she'll communicate with this girl?
I don't know.
She's very private.
Yeah, she is very private, and just it's very uncomfortable for her.
Yeah.
But I'm going to encourage her to reach out and just say hi. I mean, this girl's such a fan.
I know.
It would make her day.
make her lifetime.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for sending that in. Like I said, every person in the show does relate with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some more than others. I mean, Lily, as an older sugar baby, a lot of people really love hearing that, hey, there is success over 40, 50, whatever.
Yeah.
And hearing your stories. And then, of course, Kimmy is a completely different animal. And we love hearing her crazy sugar dating stories and life adventures. I can't wait till
she's back in Scottsdale.
Yeah. And then Vivian and Kevin are off. We got some
traveling.
Working together.
Yes.
She's working with her boss, which is always a little dangerous.
Yeah.
Or having a relationship with her boss. Which
workplace relations.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
And when those things blow up, they're not nice. But these two are different. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, they're both so open-minded that I think they would still be friends if things were to fizzle out romantically.
Right. On to some other letters. I've got one here from Joe.
Joe Mama.
He said this back in June, but he says, Marcus, I wanted to reach out and express my genuine appreciation for this week's episode of your podcast. And I think he was referring to episode 97. He says, I must admit your show has become quite addictive, keeping me thoroughly entertained during my travels. What truly captivates me is the striking resemblance between the topics discussed on your podcast and my own life experiences. Around 4 years ago, I found myself entering what's commonly referred to as the sugar bowl. Lily, did you ever hear that term before you?
No.
Yeah.
Before I stumbled upon Seeking, I had never heard about the sugar bowl. And in fact, somebody had written in something about the sugar bowl, and I'm like,
I know.
is that a typo? What are they talking about?
Same here, the sugar bowl. You know, I started hearing that more from people in Europe and
Okay.
overseas. They call it the sugar bowl, very common over there. But over in the U.S., I don't think we've adopted that phrase as much, but I'm starting to hear it more and more,
Yeah.
the sugar bowl. Anyway,
Ironically, there's a bakery
I know.
in Scottsdale called the Sugar Bowl.
I know. It's just across the street from us.
Yep.
So he says, I found myself entering what's commonly referred to as the sugar bowl, embarking on a wild and unexpected journey. Despite being relatively young at 37, I had gotten married and started a family early on. However, as I entered my early 30s, the intimacy with my marriage became infrequent. It was during this time that a friend suggested I explored the world of seeking, which proved to be a life-changing decision. That is a true statement. In my professional life, I hold an executive position at a medical company, earning a salary of $300,000 per year. Additionally, I have been fortunate enough to achieve millionaire status in terms of net worth in my late 20s. Over the years, I have built a real estate portfolio comprising approximately 30 properties, steadily acquiring 2 to 3 properties each year. This financial stability has provided me with the opportunity to engage in this unique form of dating without disrupting my current lifestyle. Naturally, there are moments when managing 2 separate lives can be challenging. Nevertheless, the rewards that come with this unconventional arrangement far outweigh any inconveniences I may encounter. Once again, I wanted to commend you on your exceptional work with the podcast. It has undeniably made a significant impact on my life, and I eagerly anticipate each new episode. Keep up the excellent work. Sincerely, Joe.
So I wonder if Joe's wife knows anything about his exploits with the sugar babies.
Did it say if he was still married?
Well, he said he's juggling 2 lives, so I'm guessing he's juggling his family and his sugar dating.
Yep.
I just always wonder if the wives, how do the wives not catch on?
Yeah. I think episode 97 was the one, I'll have to look it up, but I think that was the one about the married sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why he related to that. Okay, good catch there. And I've got a few messages from down under. Let's see. All right, here's one from JH. It's a woman. It says, "Hi, Marcus. I'm loving the podcast and currently binging episodes. So I'm sorry if you've already covered this type of question in later episodes. I'm almost caught up, but sending this now, so maybe it's answered by the time I've gotten through the backlog. I also kind of wrote a novel below, so I'm perfectly happy if you summarize, paraphrase, or think some info is too specific to share. I'm trying to keep myself safe while giving ample context, but also trust you to know best and have discretion. I'm a big overthinker, so decided just to let everything out." All right, well, let's see what she says.
This is going to be juicy.
Firstly, I am a 24-year-old from New Zealand. I sugared a little when I was younger. I used a fake name and deleted the account after a month or 2, but I'm looking to dive back in seriously for personal and professional reasons. As you can probably see my email address, my name is uncommon. First name not so much, but I believe my last is shared by literally only my immediate family. There are about 9 results when you search it on Facebook, 6 of which are family. Do girls ever use fake names or aliases when using SA and meeting men? Oh, yeah.
You should.
Yeah, actually, you should.
I
We encourage it.
don't, but I should.
Yeah.
It's just so weird to remember. Like, I'm used to Lily now,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so weird. Like, if somebody calls you by another name and you're like, who are you talking to?
Well, I am now, and I'll get to this in a minute, but I signed back up on Seeking, and I'm still on there. They haven't kicked me off yet. I've been very careful. But, yeah, I'm using my podcast name. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. All right, so she says, this is something I've seen online about sugar dating, but personally feel like maybe it's a scammer or escort approach. New Zealand is small, and while I'm not shy, I'm not quite comfortable with someone possibly being able to find me, and by extension, my family. After one look at my profile or 5 minutes of conversation and learning my first name, but I also want to be authentic and I'm looking to make genuine connections. To give you an idea, I am currently living in a smaller town. Outside of the 3 big cities of New Zealand, population apparently under 30,000. And believe I could be weeded out on Facebook with just the town and first name. I'm also wondering if I should make my location one of the big 3 cities for general safety, possibly not pursue this until I'm back living in a bigger city, or just move to Australia altogether. I'm currently putting together my profile and thinking very hard about who and what I'm looking for. My location is currently set to the region I'm in, as it wouldn't allow me to just put New Zealand. I'm looking forward to hearing from you and your beautiful co-host, and would love to guest sometime when I've got a couple of good stories and arrangements under my belt. New Zealand is also a beautiful place, and if you ever decide to visit, I'd be a great tour guide. The kindest of regards, Jay, or whatever you decide to call me. I would love to go to New Zealand. I have heard amazing things about New Zealand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so what I would suggest, and what you did, Lily, you didn't put your hometown.
No, I put Arizona.
Yeah, but you could have easily put Phoenix. We have 5 million people here.
That's true.
You could have easily put that, or even Tucson or some other big city.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that's what I would suggest that she do.
Yeah, don't put your real city.
No.
If your name is that uncommon that it would be really easy to track you down, don't use your real name. Don't give your address. Always meet at a public location. Yeah, just be super careful. I know she thinks she's overthinking it, but she's really not. I don't think you can overthink it as a woman in terms of safety. You can underthink it.
And
I've done that a time or two and thrown some caution to the wind and done some very silly things, but luckily it worked out okay.
All right. We have got another one from Down Under.
So here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
How are you going to occupy yourself while Alejandra is traveling for 2 weeks?
We'll get into that in a minute.
Okay.
Good question, though. That's on the agenda.
I mean, are you going to get bored?
We'll get to that. All right. So I've got another letter from a woman, and her initials are K.O. Hey, guys. I found your podcast a few months ago and have been obsessed. There isn't anything like this in Australia, so I'm super grateful for the advice and stories all of you have shared, especially for someone just starting out. I was on SA for the first time 10 years ago. I only had meets with people looking for service swaps, not actual dates, like underwear, feet pics, etc. It was a wild few months, and then I went traveling and moved on with life. Fast forward, I'm 29, openly non-monogamous, and sick of the dating culture and immaturity amongst people my age. I enjoy attending play parties, and I'm really comfortable with my sexuality. Through all this, I met some beautiful friends who are sugar dating, and so here I am again. Funnily enough, straight back on Seeking. Stoked it now has an app and everything. Well, actually, I think they had to. Do they have an app? Do you use the app?
The app, I believe, only works for Android.
Yeah, because of the Apple agreements. I don't know. It doesn't work for Apple.
It doesn't work for iPhones. Yeah.
All right. She says, I am a curvy gal, which at first I thought was going to be a huge factor in not finding someone because, let's be honest, there's a stereotypical look for a sugar baby. However, I have to say, I've been super lucky and have managed to create some great connections with people I'm attracted to who've commented on the difference in my profile against others. As a result, I've had some seriously fun, respectful, and caring arrangements, and I'm excited to continue exploring this world. Your podcast has helped me navigate conversations and also stand for what I want. Also understand what I can realistically provide for my arrangements. I am picky with who I spend my time with and get so much joy from seeing how happy I can make my arrangements. I am only 3 months in, so perhaps in another 3 I'll have a different view, but I really hope not. Anyway, if you ever want intel of Aussie sugar dating life, myself and a couple of friends would love to chat. Overall, I just wanted to say keep up the awesome, fun listening. Wish I was in the U.S. to try to attend your amazing party at the end of the year, but haven't quite found that caliber of sugar daddy yet. Hee hee. Cheers, K.O.
Let's do a Zoom call with the Aussies.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
I don't know what the time difference down there is.
I'll Google it.
Yeah, well, we'll figure that out. But yeah, it would be fun. I haven't talked to anybody from Australia. We've done lots of European Zoom calls.
I love Australia.
Yeah. Have you ever been?
Yes.
Oh.
I've been to Perth and Sydney. Yeah.
Nice.
It's wonderful. And the Australians are wonderful. And I love that accent. It's very sexy.
It is sexy. So we've gotten quite a few submissions in, and we're looking for more. You still have a very good chance of being picked as a winner. If you want to come to our party Thanksgiving weekend, that'd be in November. And by the time this comes out, it's going to only be 3 months away. And we are cutting off and picking the winners, the final winners, in only 2 months. So that time will go fast in 60 days.
So right now in Sydney, it's 6:35 a.m.
Oh, it is? Wow. You're counting on your fingers.
7 hours difference. Yeah.
7? No, it's the next day.
Oh.
They're on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
So add 12 to that. So it's like 19 hours difference.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. That takes some coordination.
All right, so here's what's kind of awkward. Alejandra and I are not exclusive. We do spend 4 to 5 days together. She sleeps over at my place almost every night, but we're not exclusive. And so she's still out on Seeking. She's still talking to guys.
Because you're allowing her to date
Yes.
other guys.
Well, I'll let her do what she wants.
I know. It's just funny.
I know. And I did. We were on a podcast, and it came out, and they had a clip where I talked about me allowing her to date out round, and people kind of took offense to that, saying, oh, he allowed her, like I control her or something. But anyway, so she starts talking with a guy, and I guess he'd canceled a couple times, but she was off from her job in the morning, and so they met for lunch. And when she showed up, and they're sitting there talking, she said it was a little awkward to begin with. The whole conversation was awkward. But when she showed up, he's like, oh, it is you. You're dating my friend. You're dating a guy I know. Because this guy, although we're not close friends, we've gone on golf trips together, on group golf trips. I know him. He was at my Dua Lipa birthday party concert, him and his wife. And he actually sent me a message after the concert asking for a girl's contact information who was there with her boyfriend. And I said, dude, you know she has a boyfriend and you're married. And he goes, I don't care. Send her my information and have her reach out to me. He was entranced with this girl, and he wanted to, I guess, have something with her, even though she was there with her boyfriend. And he was there with his wife.
Things change, Marcus.
I know, but I didn't think much. I was like, okay, whatever. So anyway, I did try to connect the two, and my friend goes, hey, why is this guy reaching out to me? And he's like, oh, I thought maybe you guys talked business or something, because she has her own business. And then she never reached back out to him. So that's kind of where it ended, right? Mm-hmm. He watches all my stories on my Instagram and my Facebook. We're connected. Well, he's the one who showed up for the date.
For lunch with Alejandra.
And so she's like, oh, yeah. And so she kind of starts trying to tell him a little bit about our dynamic. But at this point now, he doesn't care. She's beautiful, and all he can think about is getting in her pants. And she said it was so awkward. Like, he absolutely did not care that her and I were dating. Now, I know we're in an open relationship, but if I saw a girl that I'm seeing constantly with my buddy, and even if I know that they're in an open relationship, I'm not touching that. I'm not going there. Isn't that just rude, or no?
I mean, people are all over the place with what's right and what's wrong. Yeah. And He clearly doesn't see a problem with it. Now,
I know.
didn't he tell her that he's now divorced?
Yeah, or he's in the process of getting divorced.
He's getting divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess he probably figures if you're in an open relationship, why would you care?
Well, yeah.
But again, you said you're not a close friend with him. If you were close friends with him, then he probably would have said, dude, how open is this relationship?
Yeah.
Like, do you mind if I talk to this girl that we're mutually interested in? But you said you're not close, so.
Yeah, we're not that close, but I don't know. It just hit me a little awkward. And I thought it was kind of funny, but then I don't know. I started thinking back to when he tried to hit on the other girl who was there with her boyfriend. I was like, this guy doesn't give a fuck.
Well, I think part of your feelings are coming from protectiveness toward Alejandra.
Mm.
That's part of it.
Maybe.
Well, and honestly, you guys are very close. You're very affectionate. Your relationship is growing stronger and stronger. So it could be a hint of jealousy.
Well, what's funny, too, is the other day when I followed somebody, I've talked about this, when I followed somebody on Instagram, she's like, no, you're going to have to unfollow that girl. I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, just do it, please. Just make me happy. Just don't follow her. And it was somebody who had reached out to the show.
Yeah.
And she's stunning. Absolutely stunning. And I find what she does very interesting. But yeah, Alejandra wasn't having any part of that. And I'm like, look, we're not exclusive. But I did unfollow her.
So you didn't want to text your buddy and say, oh.
And I thought about messaging him and saying, hey, so I hear you had lunch with a girl that I know. But I didn't. I just left it.
Probably the mature thing to do. I don't think she'll reach back out to him.
Yeah.
She's not one for awkwardness or scandal.
Well, no, so this is what's funny. And so he's walking to her car, and she's like, oh, man, how am I going to get out of this? Because, you know, the awkward goodbye kiss, right? And she doesn't want any part of it. So, but he's a lot taller than her. And so she goes, he tried to reach down, and she just turned her face. And he's like, well, when am I going to get your real number? And she never even told him that wasn't her real number, but I guess it must have come up green or something. And he knows that most girls have iPhones.
Yeah.
So, and she uses a Google Voice number, and she's like, well, I'll text you. And he's like, okay, well, I think he might have said, well, I'd love to see you again. And she's like, okay, well, I'll text you. Because, like, how do you end that, right? It's very awkward, right? So then they left. And he messaged her, and then she finally broke it to him. She's like, yeah, you know, I don't think this is going to work, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, bummer, you know.
Yeah.
But just...
So, see, you have nothing to worry about. But that does just prove what a small world it is.
I know. Out of 5 million people here in town, she went out with a guy that I know, that we're actually connected and have chatted quite a bit on social media, and... You know, he's been to my party, so he's considered a friend. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So my story and why I kind of got fired up is just the ways that millennials... Now, as a millennial, what are the girls that are in their early 20s? What are they called?
I have no idea.
I don't know what they call them. It's not millennial, is it?
Inexperienced.
Yeah, but the way they deal with things is mind-boggling. So... just to give you a quick story, and I'm going to call her out because she was so rude. I'm going to call her out by her real name and her real profile. So her profile on Seeking is called Alter Ego. And she's a pretty girl. She's 23. She's a paralegal in town. Her name's Cassandra. And usually I change the names to protect the innocent, but she's not so innocent.
Okay, a millennial is a person born between early 1980s and late 1990s, a member of Generation Y.
Okay, so that's not a millennial then.
No, I don't know what you call them. Maybe it's Gen Z.
I don't know. So anyway, but they deal with things differently, I find, because this isn't the first time this has happened. It's just ridiculous. So I had actually met her in person a year ago, just for like an hour. She came over to my house. We chatted. She wasn't feeling well. She told me that from the very start, and I think she might have been on her period or having cramps or something. But she just came over in yoga pants, and she wasn't dressed up at all. And we just chatted, and she's very smart. Her degree is in political science. She's a paralegal. And I thought that she would be a good candidate for a lot of things. Maybe good candidate for our show, good candidate maybe to help me with some of my business dealings or whatever. But I didn't even get into all that stuff. So I saw her profile back on Seeking. So I met her a year and a half ago. And then we just kind of lost touch. She graduated, and then I think she went up north with family or whatever and was traveling. I don't know. So anyway, I saw her back on Seeking, and I'm like, oh, and of course I've got a new profile. So I reached out, and I go, hey, we've chatted before, but this is my new profile, and here's my number. And she immediately reached out, right? So I kind of reminded her, I said, yeah, we've met. And I gave her some little snippets of our past conversation. She goes, yeah, I just don't remember. Sorry. I said, no, that's fine. It was very quick. It was a year and a half ago. There wasn't much to remember. And you're not going to offend me that you don't remember. Like, I've met hundreds of girls. I'm not going to remember every single one of them. Like, I could probably walk to a store and bump into one and not remember I actually went out with her.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So no offense. So she's like, oh, okay. So the conversation's going okay. And our conversation last time left off like, hey, I'd love to see you again. She goes, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'd love to see you too, blah, blah, blah. And then I texted her a couple times, couldn't get a hold of her, and then I just kind of left it at that. And then, life just moved on for me, right? So I thought, oh, well, I'll kind of reconnect and see if there's anything that I can get out of this, because I've already met her, and I thought there was some potential just to at least be a friend, just to know somebody. So she goes, okay, well, call me. I'm like, okay, so I did, and I'm not kidding you. Like, I called her, and she was yawning like she was either just woke up from a nap or was just super tired and was about ready to go to bed.
What time of day is this?
This is last night. This is like 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night.
Okay.
So 8:30. And I know she gets up early for work, so I thought, oh, she's just really tired. And the conversation was just a little slow. Like, I'd ask a question, there'd be a long pause, and then answer. And so then we kind of stumbled over. And literally the conversation was only a couple minutes long. And you know me, I'm never rude. I'm very nice, very cordial. I don't get into touchy subjects. I'm not the kind of guy that gets really crude with you or, it was just like, hey, how are you? It's been a while. So how's your job going? Blah, blah, blah. And then she's mid-sentence. This is literally like 2 to 3 minutes into the conversation. She's mid-sentence, and the phone clicks. It goes off. And I go, oh, well, that's weird. The phone just hung up. So I waited like a minute, and I called her back and went right to voicemail. And I thought, well, her phone died or she's blocked me, which is really weird because, like, literally we hadn't gotten into anything.
You offended her, sir.
No, we really hadn't even gotten into anything yet. And as you know, like even with Trucker, you don't know somebody in the first few sentences or few words, or
not even necessarily in the first few dates.
Yeah, it takes so I was trying to build up. So anyway, I said, hey, I'm not sure what happened. The call dropped, but if you want to have a drink, I'd love to chat or whatever. No answer. And then I go on Seeking. I'm blocked. She blocked me.
Huh.
That's your way of dealing with?
That's weird.
Isn't that weird?
Gen Z. I looked it up.
It's Gen Z?
The 20-year-olds
is that how
Gen Z.
Gen Z, if they just like get bored or they don't want to talk to somebody, they just
I don't know.
hang up and block you?
But if you're born after 2000, you're Generation Alpha.
Okay. Oh, well, no, she'd be, right there because she's 23. So
she's Gen Z.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Isn't that crazy? I was pissed. Like, it's kind of like Jerry Seinfeld. If he's and I talk about this, if he's doing a show and there's 10,000 people there all laughing, but one guy in the front row is not laughing, that's the person that bothers you. Like, why isn't that person laughing? Because most people like me. I get along with most people.
The funniest thing is she was mid-sentence and hung up.
I know. So she had to have had it all planned and had her hand right there. I mean, I started thinking about, like, that's the most immature, childish way to deal with us. Maybe a call that you just really didn't want to be on.
Gosh.
Isn't that stupid? That's so silly.
That is silly.
So anyway, you're going to be rude to me like that? I'm calling you out by your name and your
And
information.
why can't people just be honest and say,
I know. You know what? And that's the thing. They don't understand
I'm
at that
really
age that
tired.
you can be honest.
yeah.
You know, at our age, we could tell each other, hey, you know, so-and-so, I'm
I don't
maybe
see this
not.
going
I don't,
anywhere.
yeah, and I don't want to be rude, and I don't want to waste your time, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I feel like our chemistry's off or our vibe isn't
And you know what we do?
strong.
Like, okay, thanks for being honest. I appreciate that. And we move on, right? No big deal. Don't think twice about it. But just, the way it went down just pissed me off so bad.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So anyway.
Very immature. You're right.
Yeah, so I'm calling you out by your real name. And, and don't give me your real number. I had her real number. So obviously her information came up, and I know exactly her first name, last name. Could probably find out where she lives. I don't care. I'm not going to hunt you down. But you piss off the wrong people,
Yeah.
and sometimes they do stupid things. That's not me. I'm done with it. I'm glad we get to talk about it. And then the other thing I wanted to discuss too is, so now I'm a week into my seeking being active again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's a shit show. God, it's been almost a year since I've been on there. I forgot what a shit show it is. Like, people will message you and you're like, oh, this girl's really nice and blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, hey, can you host? All right. What happened to, hey, let's get dinner and talk and enjoy each other's company? It's like, hey, do you have a place we can fuck? Basically is what they're saying,
Aggressive.
right? Yeah, so I'm kind of like, I'm not looking for that. And actually, you know, I'm very happy with what Alejandra and I have. And so I'm just kind of filling up a little time on getting caught up with work. And then there are a few people that have messaged me that I am really doing podcast research. I really am. We'll see.
You're going on a dating frenzy, sir.
Yeah, well, there's a couple people that I am going to drinks with and chat about. But these are older people. One of them is like 55, and she's brand new on the site, and I think we have some valuable information we could share with her. And I kind of want to catch somebody that's very new to this and then see how it goes for them and see if there's any value that we can add, and then maybe even have them on the show and kind of watch how it goes. Because our episode with Vivian, our very first episode with Vivian was about her first week as being a sugar baby, and that today is still one of our most downloaded episodes we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are curious, what is it like your first week as a sugar baby? And it was really good. It was a good episode. And so, I don't know, that's kind of my mission right now while Alejandra is in Hawaii enjoying her time there with family and friends for the next 9 to 10 days.
Yep. Working on that tan.
Working on that TAM. So anyway, the week will go fast. I'll probably only meet 2 or 3 people, and then I'm just not going to have time again. Alejandra will take up most of my time. But, you know, as long as we're in an open relationship.
She's getting real good at taking up your time.
That's right.
I've noticed.
Yes. Anyway, this episode did run a little long, though, huh?
Yeah.
I was going to save some of this for the extra sugar, but I've got plenty to talk about there anyway. So we'll wrap it up. But
They always come back.
oh, that's
Look who
hilarious.
just popped in out of the woodwork from eons ago.
Wow.
That's my ER surgeon.
Yeah, so Lily literally just got a text. When was the last time you talked to him?
Let me see. I have not heard from him since like April.
Yeah.
April 9th, to be exact.
Yeah. Isn't it funny just how randomly out of the blue people get back in touch with you that you met on the site? Yeah, because I
Yeah.
hadn't talked to Cassandra in over a year and just randomly like messaged her. Of course, she didn't have any of our text conversations saved.
Oh, this
so.
is actually a message for you
It
from
is.
my ex-sugar daddy.
Oh, live and on air. Let's hear it.
He says, hey, long time gorgeous. FYI, tell X, can't remember his name, your friend/landlord, it looks like the Coyotes are purchasing one of those huge empty land blocks across from your house. High-end apartments, retail, hotels, and the arena. Should pop his property value.
Oh. Yes, they put a letter of an intent to purchase 40 acres of land here in Mesa, Arizona to put the hockey arena. I am not sure exactly where that's going to be, so we'll have to talk to your friend and see what plot of land that is.
Yeah. I wonder how he got some insider information on that.
Because in the news, all they say is they've put a letter of intent to purchase the land. They didn't say where it was. That's good that I have real estate in that area, huh?
Yeah, lots of it.
There's a good reason why you should invest in real estate and why it's done me well.
And why you don't burn bridges with your ex-sugar daddies.
There you go. That's good stuff there. All right. Well, we appreciate, again, all of you listeners. Our numbers are tracking up, and who knows where we're going to take this, but hold on. The ride is going to be fun, and it's not going to end anytime soon. So if you want to share, again, your sugar dating stories, questions, or comments, we do get those. Go to our website at secretsofasugardaddy.com. Follow us on Instagram. I have met and chatted with many of our listeners there and made lots of good friendships just through Instagram. So come on there and chat with us, or at least just get updates about the show and funny memes that we post. And don't forget to go to the website also to come party with us. You'll find that there. All right, Lily, thanks. It was fun.
Until next week.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.